Hello, this is Joe. It's been a while since I posted my last video, and we have been busy. And actually, one of my first harvest for this spring year 2020 are some of my greens. These are sweet potato greens, and I have also a couple of bok choy. And although some of these ingredients might not be easy to find for some of you, for the most part, I know that a lot of people, especially those who have garden, will find this in their backyards. Okay, our recipe will have sweet potato greens right here and bok choy. Now the sweet potato greens, this is how I like to harvest them. If you have this growing in your backyard, I like to take the top of it, include the two largest leaf before you get to this very tender tops right here. So two maturing leaves and the tender tops. This will assure that if this is your first time trying out sweet potato leaves, it will give you that pleasant experience, because this part of the leaves are actually tender and mild in flavor. And if you like spinach, I believe you will prefer this like I do, because it does not contain as much oxalic acids like the spinach contain. I enjoy eating that, but I do prefer eating sweet potato greens whenever I have them available in my garden. And I also harvested a couple of my bok choy, as you can see, and don't worry, really, you don't have to worry about chopping it nice and fancy. These are very tender greens, which you could, as you can see, pretty much just rip it off and like that. And if you're concerned about how it looks, naturally you can use knife. But to show you how tender these greens are, you don't really need to worry so much about the preparation. So there you go. I have my bok choy greens and my sweet potato tops. Okay? These are two very, very healthy kind of greens. And what you're looking at over here are lemongrass. I pounded this end already to release the flavor of this, and all I have to do is kind of tie that all up. I probably will trim the very top leaves right there, just so that it don't look funny in my recipe. But just tie it up like that, kind of pound this end of the lemongrass, and there you got it ready. It smells so good. Okay, with the lemongrass we have garlic, ginger, and onion. We also have chicken wings. It's not easy to find the parts of the meat that you'd like lately, or I'd like lately. So today I'm using chicken wing. And for this soup, as you can see, I have my sweet potato greens as well as bok choy. Okay, in a hot olive oil, we're going to add our garlic. notice that I did not chop the garlic finely as I normally do. That's because when it comes to making soup, you don't really need to be very, very careful in chopping your ingredients, because the boiling process will break down a lot of this component. Okay, just wait until you see that your garlic is starting to turn golden brown, and that will give it a really good roasted garlic flavor, as well as your ginger. Now you can add your onion. Let's saute our onion until it's translucent. This is a very, very simple soup, but the end result is a very healthy and nutritious soup that not only you but the rest of the family can enjoy. My grandchildren love drinking their soup, so this is going to be a treat for them. And yes, they like the flavor of ginger. They're used to my cooking, which their mom mimicked lots of time, and a lot of our recipe requires ginger, especially the adobo. Okay, so as you can see, the ginger and the garlic are golden brown and the onion is translucent. Now we are going to add our chicken. Now, another thing about chicken, for what I understand, I mean, I cannot explain it. I'm not a scientist, but there's something about the chicken that whenever we have anybody in the family have a terrible cold, chicken soup always seems to be a good cure for it. And whenever my children, I mean, going back when my children were young and they would come down with the stomach virus, I would make some kind of chicken soup, pretty much the same, the way that you see me prepare here. And although I'm not gonna make this sour, it's usually that I would make like some kind of sour chicken soup called sinigang. And either I use tamarind or lemon juice to make it sour, and it seems to almost always, I would say 98% of the time, it would have an instant effect on my children. The next day they wake up feeling good, and well, that's my experience. I am sharing it with you that you might want to try that. But see, this type of soup here is almost always a medicinal, not just delicious kind of meal for my family. Okay, so you can use chicken broth or plain water. So today I'm going to use plain water. I will give our chicken a little bit of seasoning. I'll put some salt in it. That's about half a teaspoon for now, because it's soup. I can always add more salt later. And I'll go ahead and add, pardon the noise, that's hot water. I like to use hot water so that I don't completely stop the cooking process. And once I got this started, I will cover it and bring it to a boil and I'll bring you back in. Okay, so now that it's boiling, we're going to add our lemongrass and just allow it to continue boiling until the chicken is tender. It's been boiling a good while and chicken is, yep, nice and tender, but we don't want to overcook it. So we're gonna start adding some of the vegetables. First, I'd like to take out the lemongrass. This is the part of the lemongrass that we don't need because we're not really gonna eat this. So I like to take it out before I add my greens. Okay. So the first part of the green that I'm going to add are the stems. They take a little longer to cook. Okay, so now I come to a boiling briskly. We're going to add a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper according to your taste, and you can also adjust your salt according to your taste. And we are going to start adding our greens. I'll start with my, oh well, I'd like to start with a sweet potato, so I know exactly where I put it. Now it looks like we have a lot, but you know, when it comes to greens, they just wilt down to almost nothing. So that will go down, and then we'll go ahead and add our bok choy. Okay, that's pretty much it. So we're going to submerge our sweet potato greens, and we'll bring it to a boil again. Then we'll go ahead and add the bok choy. Okay, it don't take long. Soon as it comes to a boil, I'll go ahead and add my second green, which is my bok choy. Now I don't think I mentioned it, but I'm using baby bok choy. That's what I'm growing in my garden. And if you can't find baby bok choy, there are those bigger type of bok choy. They will work just as good. Okay, so now that we got all our greens, we'll just let it come to a boil again, and we'll turn off the stove, and our soup is done. Now remember to adjust your seasoning according to your taste. And as you can see, as it is, it's boiling slightly, so I will actually turn off my stove. The residual heat from the stove top and the pot will continue cooking the vegetables and everything in the pot. Okay,